Hello, Internet! Well, I talked about Sonic the Hedgehog, and that was a pretty enlightening experience. In fact, I might have gained the skills necessary to talk about its sequel.
You'd expect a follow-up to the first game to be a no-brainer for Sega, but they were actually hesitant about the idea. Until they realized how many copies it actually sold and decided Sonic 2 needed to happen yesterday. An overseas division of Sega known as the Technical Institute, with the help of Yuji Naka and a few other employees from the original Sonic team, only had 9 months to make the game. Despite that, along with communication issues, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 somehow got released.
But was this all too fast for Sega Technical Institute, or were they able to keep up and make a quality title out of what they had? I suppose there's only one way to find out.
We've got a similar story to the first game with Sonic fighting Robotnik and his machines, but it takes place on a new island with more zones, another Chaos Emerald, and a new fuzzy little guy to tag along with you. This is Tails, or Miles Prower in technical terms. A two-tailed fox that never quite fit in with the others, he stands alongside the titular Hedgehog with his more supernatural abilities and technological know-how. I mean, this little guy can do it all. Keep up with Sonic, come back from the dead, walk through walls, he's a real jack-of-all-trades. He even introduced multiplayer to Sonic with a racing mode or just messing around in the main game.
Speaking of which, let's talk about the gameplay proper.
Sonic plays about how you'd expect, with the introduction of a new move called the Spin Dash. It's a great way to gain momentum quickly, just hold down, mash one of the jump buttons, and off he goes. Aside from that, the biggest change in the gameplay is how you get to the Chaos Emeralds. Rather than holding 50 rings until the end of an act, you can go to any of the checkpoints in one and jump into the star Okay, I appreciate that they tried to do 3D graphics and gameplay with limited technology. There was good effort here, but sweet Lumina, this is the most infuriating special stage I've ever experienced in a Sonic game. You have no way to see where you're going, there's a strict ring requirement, and you lose so many from one hit, and I just found another one of Tails' abilities, screwing you out of a Chaos Emerald.
I'd tell you to just skip these pre-rendered nightmares, but this had to be the game where they introduce an actual reward for collecting all the emeralds.
Yes, this was the game to introduce Super Sonic, a faster, invincible version of the character you can activate with enough rings. It is fun to blast through levels, although it's tricky to do that in many of them. Let's talk about those levels, shall we? Technically, there's only one more act than the original game, but there are way more zones and theme variety. Also more forms of garbage, but it's not super noticeable until near the end of the game. I'm sorry, the final area is really cool as a set piece, but it is not fun to play. Robo Sonic and the Death Egg Robot take way too many hits, have super precise hitboxes, and if you get hit once, it's all the way back to the beginning.
I don't know what to say. Everyone says this is one of the best Sonic games in the series, and I really like everything it introduced, but the game itself just doesn't really click with me.
Tails is a really charming character, but he hasn't reached his full potential. Every zone after the first one stops you in your tracks multiple times, and the special and final areas are an absolute nightmare to play. There was also a lot of cut content from the game, plenty of extra zones like a desert, forest, and ancient palace, along with the time travel mechanic. That would be used in a future game, and the palace was restored in the mobile version of Sonic 2.
As for Sonic 2 itself, I'm definitely glad that it happened, but I don't really see myself revisiting it in the future. Now seems like a good time to run for my life.